We're less than a month out from the first presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. And reportedly, Trump has brought in former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard to help him get ready. Now, you may remember that Gabbard has direct experience debating Kamala Harris. Some think she scored quite the knockout. Here's a clip from that debate in 2019.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place.
Gabbard has since left the Democratic Party. A Trump spokesperson told The Times Trump, quote, does not need traditional debate prep, but will continue to meet with respected policy advisors and effective communicators like Tulsi Gabbard, who successfully dominated Kamala Harris on the debate stage in 2020.
Meanwhile, several far-right influencers are turning away from Trump. Those far-right figures include Nick Fuentes, a podcaster who dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in 2022. He said on X, quote, tonight I declared a new Groyper war against the Trump campaign. We support Trump, but his campaign has been hijacked by the same consultants, lobbyists, and donors that he defeated in 2016, and they're blowing it. Without serious changes, we are headed for a catastrophic loss. That post had over 2 million views. Another far-right influencer, Laura Loomer, also criticized Trump's campaign, messaging while Candace Owens, who was seen alongside Trump in March, called out Trump on a podcast this week for not having stronger policies. Owens said, quote, I'm not sure who is driving the MAGA bus anymore, and you're losing support from the people that believed in you. You need those people. MSNBC's Morning Joe said Trump's base seems exhausted. Let's watch.
The one word that I always saw as Donald Trump's biggest challenge was exhaustion. Not his personal exhaustion, but the exhaustion of those who had supported him in 2016, some who still supported him in 2020, but were exhausted, especially after January the 6th, exhausted after just the constant fights, the constant insults, the constant battles.
Now he added that Kamala's base exudes energy and joy. So let's talk about the Groypers. Am I saying it right? Groypers.
Yeah, the frog people.
This is a new faction within American politics.
It's not even a faction.
What would you call it?
It's just some people online. It doesn't represent enough real anything. Go ahead, finish.
Okay, so it's people online. They have a mascot that is a toad.
Yeah, look, I think,
meme.
okay, the influence and importance of Nick Fuentes on the right is, in my view, very commonly overstated by mainstream media because he is a disgusting, vile anti-Semite, and they want to pretend that everyone on the right is like that. He is not anyone with significant influence on the right. Candace Owens now is a very obviously popular former Daily Wire host who has clashed with other people on the right on foreign policy and a lot of stuff. I don't know that Trump should be listening to her either. She was recently in a clip said that Jewish mysticism was about turning people toward pedophilia and the worship of Baphomet, the satanic horned god. So that was an interesting commentary from her. I think she's losing relevance. I'm sure the mainstream media wants to pretend that these are the people representing conservatism, and like their criticism of Trump is not really I agree Trump should not overly listen to consultants or business people who have steered the Republican Party down the wrong direction, but he also doesn't need to listen to online weirdos. He needs to, chart a policy course that is responsive to the demands of ordinary Americans and the concerns they have about our economic system and other things. He doesn't need to be beholden to lobbyists or beholden to the online right. Sometimes the online right has some good ideas, and I think someone like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's very plugged into what young people online on the right think, is a good influencer in that regard. But that's a far cry from the likes of the Nick Fuentes type people.
But Nick Fuentes has over 400,000 followers. This isn't a small group of people that are fringe online. He had dinner with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
No. Well, you can have 400.
Yes,
I mean,
he
people.
did.
Okay, let me get to that. People, you can follow someone online. Like I might follow him online because I'm a news commentator and I have to pay attention to what he's saying. You can follow someone without being an acolyte.
What he's saying, he's influential.
Well, because I keep being asked to talk about it and explain why he's not that influential. You can follow someone without endorsing. Like, the number of followers you have doesn't mean that you have some natural constituency within the GOP. He had the dinner with Trump was because Trump had dinner with Kanye West, and he was in Kanye West's entourage at the time. Trump subsequently said he did not know who Nick Fuentes was or what his deal was.
Him is what he said.
He did not say he was
Yes,
impressed with Nick
he
Fuentes.
did.
I don't believe he did. He said he would not have had dinner with him if he knew who he was. He did not specifically go, "Oh, Nick Fuentes, leader of the white supremacists, let me invite you to dinner." That is not how it worked. So I did also want to address the Tulsi thing. So Tulsi, had that great debate with Kamala Harris several years ago, which we previewed, which we recollected people. I think it is smart for Trump to listen to Tulsi and how that debate went, because it was widely perceived that Harris fell to Tulsi in that debate. That was even cited as one of the reasons she got out of the race after that. And so now, Tulsi does not identify as a Democrat anymore. In fact, she said that she left the Democratic Party. I think she wrote a book titled "Leaving the Democratic Party," something like that. So, but she is someone to offer good advice on that front.
So a source familiar with the dinner told Axios that Trump seemed very taken with Fuentes, impressed that the 24-year-old was able to rattle off statistics and recall speeches. There was a lot of fawning back and forth, the source added. They seem to have really liked each other.
Anonymous sources.
Someone who was at the dinner, yes, told Axios, an established reporting source. They vet their sources. This is someone who's close to the folks who were at the dinner who told Axios
Again, that's
this.
not, he didn't know who he was. Like, you can just be polite to someone and not want to have controversy with, I don't even know that was said. Okay, go ahead. If people think that's, oh my God, we can't support Trump because someone conned their way into a few words of kindness from him, I don't know.
Even Kanye West said Trump was, quote, really impressed with Fuentes. Kanye West himself went on the record saying that publicly.
Well,
so I think, listen,
Kanye West
I get
also said that
Trump needs these people to win. This is a very influential group of people on the right that showed up to vote for Trump in 2016. 400,000 people, if we're going to take it by Fuentes' follower count. His reach is obviously much more because we're talking about it now and I don't follow him. I'm sure our viewers don't follow him and know who he is because he's reported on in the news frequently. That's enough votes to turn the election in every swing state. We've seen swing states come down to 10,000, 20,000 votes. And so, yeah, these people matter, especially if they're in swing states. And I get that, the right is smart to say that these are fringe people, that we want nothing to do with them. But at the end of the day, these people could change the election if they turn out for Trump.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, Candace, Laura Loomer, these people defecting from Trump, they're followers as well. That's a lot of people on the right.
Trump needs to reassure and bring in undecided, moderate, suburban, working class people who might have voted for him last time, might not, might have voted for him the first time, might not. He has to reassure them that he is going to actually deliver on the policies that they want. He's going to right the country, and it's not going to be all weird, embarrassing stuff that they don't like about him. It's going to be policy-focused, righting the economic ship, sane foreign policy, spending American tax dollars at home, lowering the price of things, not by doing communism, by just having a saner regulatory environment. That's what he needs to communicate to people. He doesn't need to do anything for people with broad pictures.
Well, we'll see if Tulsi Gabbard ends up influencing him to attack Kamala Harris on her criminal justice record and then angering the far right more, because that was definitely an attack from the left.
You can go after her from that. I think she's vulnerable from a right perspective on that she didn't prosecute the kind of crimes that we want prosecuted. Instead, she prosecuted truancy, which is arresting parents for their kids not showing up for school, which she was excited. She wrote in her book that she was excited to do that policy. I think there's a way on criminal justice reform in which she is vulnerable from left, right, center, from everyone, because it was not a particularly inspiring track record. But we'll see if
that line of attack works with a party that's been pushing the message that attorney generals are not enforcing crimes,
right?
Are not enforcing the law.
I don't know
that
that's
prosecuting
a message.
crimes.
I think that's, yeah. I think some of that
I don't know if
is
it'll
happening.
work, Robbie.
But,
we'll see.
More rising after. Oh, let's say it in unison. More rising after this.